Hey, I'm David Bederman, the Israel Life Coach and the creator of Total Life Clarity. And today I want to talk to you about how to get unshakable self-confidence. I speak to people all over the world, and one of the questions that come up the most is, David, how do I create unshakable self-confidence? How do I build my self-confidence? And the truth is, self-confidence probably is the single most important factor in creating whatever it is you want to create in life. Whether you want to step into a new job, whether you want a new relationship, whether you want more clients, it doesn't matter what you want to create in your life, the foundation is going to be increasing your self-confidence. And before we get into it, let's just talk about what self-confidence really is. And self-confidence is really the reputation that you have with yourself. It's how you see yourself. And when you change how you see yourself, your world changes. All of a sudden, possibilities open up for you that didn't seem possible before when you build self-confidence. And there's actually several types of self-confidence. This is a scientific fact. And the basic level of confidence is called dependent self-confidence. And when we're kids, the way we see ourselves is shaped entirely by how our world, our parents, see us. So if our parents treat us with responsibility and discipline is a huge factor in creating self-confidence, then you feel confident because you learn that your actions matter. And more often than not these days, people grow up with low dependent self-confidence because for whatever reason, our parents just didn't do a good enough job. So what happens is we stay stuck in that pattern, right? That pattern is seeking validation. The pattern that we have as children is seeing ourselves according to how the world sees us. And the problem is that most adults are stuck in that pattern of seeing themselves according to how others see them, which is why they got caught up with, getting a fancy car and posting all these things on Facebook, trying to get validation, trying to build ourselves up according to how other people see us. But the way to really skyrocket your self-confidence is you need to transition from this pattern of seeking validation into the space of what's called independent self-confidence. It's the change from comparing yourself to others or getting validation from others to comparing yourself to yourself, which means it's no longer about how others see me. Now you become interested in only how you see yourself. And making that transition is not easy. And it brings up a lot of things that I've spoken about in other videos, namely fear. You're going to have to sit with a lot of fear because as you shift your identity, as you shift your vision of yourself, so your feelings are going to change. You're going to have to come up with new ways of acting and behaving. I mean, that's really what it means, isn't it? Creating a new identity is all about behaving and acting differently. So what differentiates somebody that serves you in a fast food restaurant to the ambassador of the United States, the difference between those two people is simply how they show up, how they speak, and how they behave, right? And if the McDonald's attendant could, upgrade their life and dress differently, speak differently, surround themselves with different people, and behave differently, they would very well become the ambassador if they wanted. So that's what self-confidence enables you to do. It enables you to show up in the world differently because you see yourself differently. So here's how you build unshakable self-confidence. The number one tool for building unshakable self-confidence that I share with all my private clients starts with learning to tap into the power of your thinking. You see, the greatest mistake we make in the world today, the greatest mistake people make, is that they confuse the voice in their mind, the voice that's speaking in their head, with their voice. They believe it's their voice, and so they believe everything that it says. But the truth is the mind is just a tool. The mind is just a machine. It was designed to process information that's coming into it from your eyes and your ears and your senses, process the information from the outside world, and come up with an interpretation to keep you safe, to keep you out of danger. The problem is that 98% of the time, all the chatter that's going on in your mind is useless, right? It's like the clouds in the sky. They're always there, they're always passing by, the thoughts are always going through your mind. 98% of the time, they're meaningless. And so the first step to building unshakable self-confidence is learning to notice the thinking that's going on in your mind. And I say learning to notice the thinking because you have to stop identifying with the thinking in your mind as your thinking. They're not your thoughts. They're just thoughts going through your mind. They're just random expressions of your mind trying to make sense of the world around you and to keep you out of danger. And the way you build confidence is you learn to notice the thinking, and then you start, once you've learned to build that skill, and it's a muscle, it's something that will come over time, and it's an ability that will increase with practice. But once you get good at simply just noticing all the thinking that's going on before acting, without reacting to it, what happens next is you become able to take control of the conversation. And that's where your confidence comes from. Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall on your face. When you're becoming, I remember when I was just becoming an entrepreneur, when I was just starting my business, I was stepping out of this paradigm of safety of going into a job and pleasing my boss and doing what my boss said and getting it, right? Stepping into this new world of creating my own reality and trying to show up. And I made mistakes all the time. I made expensive mistakes. I made embarrassing mistakes. And that's going to happen to you. If you want to change your life, if you want to create a life that's more fulfilling, that's more exciting, that's more inspiring, that enables you to travel, that enables you to bring your dreams to life, it's going to mean you have to step out of this paradigm of safety, of comfort that you're living in now, and into a new way of behaving. And that's going to mean you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to have to deal with a lot of embarrassment and a lot of failure, a lot of rejection. And the way you deal with that is how you respond to that situation in your mind. And so once you get good at noticing the thinking, then you'll be able to say, wait a minute, there's a voice in my head that says, such an idiot. I can't believe I just did that, right? I just missed my bus. I just showed up late for the meeting. I just said something that's so stupid. I just blew this huge opportunity. I'm such an idiot. You're going to hear that voice. And your self-confidence comes from the way you respond to that voice. See, the voices in your mind don't have any meaning unless you give them meaning. And I guarantee you that when you make a mistake, the next mistake you make, and it'll probably be in the next 8 minutes from now because people make mistakes all the time. The next time you make a mistake, your self-confidence comes from how you respond to those mistakes, how you respond to those voices. And here's the key. You have to start practicing this thing that I call unconditional self-acceptance. So you'll hear that voice saying, you're such a failure, you're such an idiot, I can't believe you blew it. And then you'll say to yourself, is that true? Am I really a failure? And that's where you'll practice USA. Unconditional self-acceptance. Because when you're stepping into a new paradigm, a new life for yourself, you have to give yourself permission to fail. And no matter what happens, you just have to practice unconditional self-acceptance. Practicing unconditional self-acceptance, allowing yourself to make mistakes, to say, I'm not better than that. I'm not above making mistakes. I coach people from all over the world. I'm not above making mistakes. I don't claim to be perfect. Practicing unconditional self-acceptance, responding to those voices, that voice in your mind, with acceptance, allowing yourself to be a failure, to make mistakes, is what will build your self-confidence and will enable you to take bold steps, to make bold moves, and to take bold risks, which is what you're going to need to do to transform your life. I'm David Bederman, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I've got a ton more inspiration and powerful strategies to send you. Click on the link in the description of this video and head on over to davidbederman.com and put in your email address to subscribe for updates. I'll also give you access to my Total Life Clarity training video series for free. So head on over to davidbederman.com and subscribe for updates, and I'll see you in your inbox.